Hello my friends and welcome back. Today I want to share with you my top 4 mulching plants you may want to consider growing in your garden to help facilitate an abundance of growth and help save you a bunch of money in the process. Oftentimes as gardeners, we're hyper-focused on growing edible crops throughout our garden, which is wonderful. But there are a few varieties of plants over the years that I've become very fond of, as they do a wonderful job helping to keep moisture in the soil, build quality soil tilth, and provide added nutrients to your plants as they grow. And yes, there's many different plants that can help to accomplish this. I'm just going to share with you my top 4 today. So let's start over here first. You see this plant growing here? Looks a lot like an artichoke, right? Well, it's in the same family. This is the Cardoon plant, and it's the stalks of this plant that have edible uses. Unlike the artichoke, we harvest those flower heads. But check out the amount of biomass that's being created here. This particular plant is actually working as a living mulch. It's helping to shade this area around this beautiful fig tree that's just waking up out of dormancy. And I do place my artichoke plants throughout the garden strategically in the same way, growing towards the base of this apium fruit tree. See, we've got a nice family of artichokes growing here. And not only is it helping to shade out the soil beneath the tree, but it's actually helping to protect the trunk of the tree from sun scald by helping to create a microclimate and also block the sun from direct contact with the tree trunk. Now as we pan over here to the right, you see I've got a pile of leaves. These are primarily those Cardoon leaves, and I'm using this as a mulch material. The great thing about using Cardoon and artichoke leaves as a mulch is that they break down rather quickly, and in the process they help to smother out any weeds, all the while breaking down and creating great soil tilth. So here's how I go about harvesting Cardoon leaves for mulch. I just reach down towards the base and it breaks off nice and clean, and you can see all that glistening moisture locked in the stalk of this plant. This is also a benefit to us gardeners. As these stalks break down and that moisture is released, it's just helping even furthermore to help retain and keep that soil nice and moist. So I'd highly recommend you consider looking into growing the Cardoon and the artichoke as both a living mulch and a chop and drop crop. Another plant you'll see dotted through my landscape is none other than the Comfrey plant. Now this is the Bocking 14 varietal. This is the variety of comfrey I'd recommend, as it doesn't create any seeds that can scatter and spread the plant to a point where it could become a bit invasive. This Bocking 14 spreads only by root division and is quite easy to control in my experience. And just like with the Cardoon, this plant here is currently working as a living mulch, and this is going to get much larger and bush out. As an added benefit, you can see where all these leaves have been nibbled at by the wild birds. They really take a liking to this plant late winter, early spring. But as we head towards later spring into summer, they tend to leave it alone. And this is what we like to call a cut and come again crop, because as you take it down and harvest the leaves, and I don't like to take it all the way to the ground, I like to leave a few shoots for photosynthesis, for faster regeneration. This plant's going to grow right back several times throughout the growing season, giving us an abundance of mulch to put around our plants. Another great use for comfrey leaves is that we can turn this into a soluble fertilizer, a liquid fertilizer, by simply adding this into a 5-gallon bucket, drenching it with some water, and letting it sit for about 20-30 days. Then you can pour that liquid out around your plants and get all the nutrients out of the leaves. Comfrey has a deep taproot that can go down several feet, and because of that, it mines up nutrients and minerals that other plants can't reach, and all of that ends up in the leaves. So whether we're using this plant as a chop and drop crop or we're making a liquid fertilizer out of it, it's a must in my opinion for those who are trying to create a self-sustaining gardening system. Now the third mulching crop that I want to talk about today is none other than the Fava Bean. Look at these beautiful mature specimens here. They're in full flower, full bloom, and at this stage, before they begin to create the pods, this is a great time to chop and drop the plant. It looks like we got a ladybug here. I do see a few aphids on some of the tips of this plant. I'm not overly concerned about that. We've got the ladybugs here to help us out. Fava's a wonderful, delicious, edible crop. The tips, the leaves, the flowers, virtually the entire plant has edible uses, and it tastes very similar to a green bean. For that reason, we grow fava as a mulching crop and an edible crop. So multiple uses here once again. But the greatest benefit comes from the roots of the crop. Check this out. Those puffy white balls that you see on the root mass here are nitrogen root nodules. So we really want to leave that in the ground and just chop the plant off above the soil surface, and you've got yourself a wonderful mulching material. And just like with the Cardoon and the Comfrey, the fava plant will break down rather quickly. So you're able to introduce that organic breakdown to help build that soil tilth very quick. So I've saved the best for last. Now I'm going to share with you my fourth and favorite mulching crop to grow in the garden, and it's none other than lemongrass. Lemongrass is a beautiful ornamental crop that can be grown as a perennial or an annual. In colder climates, you can harvest some of the stalks in late winter, put them in pots, and overwinter them in a warmer area like a greenhouse or a garage, and transplant them back into the garden. Lemongrass has multiple uses. It makes a wonderful, delicious tea, also is great in soup bases, and can be used medicinally to create a facial steam bath if you're experiencing cold and flu-like symptoms. And at the end of each year, the grass leaves will turn brown and die back to the ground level, at which point you can harvest those leaves and pile it up for later usage in the garden. A pile of lemongrass like this won't compost down like your traditional compost pile. I've had lemongrass piles last years, and as a mulch, it can last for years as well. Here we've got a new addition to the backyard food forest garden. We've got an Arctic Babe miniature nectarine. You can see how much sun it's getting there right on the soil surface, so it's going to be of great benefit to add some mulch around this plant. And I found that if you include some of the stalks with the mulch, the essential oils help to repel insects, just another added benefit. And this mulch really does the job. Not only does it help to block the sun and keep that moisture in the soil, but water will easily sift through this material. And like I said, it lasts an extremely long time, which makes the lemongrass my absolute favorite mulching material. So there you have it, my friends. That's my top 4 mulching crops you should consider growing in your garden. Let me know down in the comments below, what's your favorite mulching crop? I know there's many others out there. I probably missed 1 or 2 of them that you're very fond of, so shoot me a comment down below. Let me know if you use any of these crops in your garden, how it's working out for you, or if you've got a different plant material that you would recommend gardeners grow for the same purpose. So that's going to wrap this video up, my friends. I sure do appreciate you spending some time with me today. I know your time's valuable. I don't take it for granted. And so with that, I hope you're able to get out into your garden today and spend at least 10 minutes working towards creating the most abundant garden of your life. Take care, everybody. I'll be talking to you again soon.